welcome Cadel. Big round of applause for the man of the moment. Now, we've got a race coming up, the Chilambra Challenge. I assume, being from around here, have you done this before?
A couple of times, yes.
Just a couple of times, yeah.
A couple of times, most notably in the World Championships in 2010. There was a few more people than there was today. It was absolutely packed full, but of course, with the race now, it's become a real become a really unique point of the race and a unique environment where it's like being in the final lap of the World Championships anywhere around the world. So I thank also the people of Chilambra Avenue for letting us use their street and blocking their driveways and so on. Thank you all for all of you on your balconies and for putting up with us. But also thank you for everyone coming out today. Mr. Steve Brax, good to see you in Lycra, winning credibility with all the bike riders, that's for sure. And no, thank you all for coming out today.
And Cadel, Phil Anderson, it's wonderful to have Phil here, and I know that maybe for, how do I put this politely, for the people who are slightly younger might not quite understand exactly what Phil did in the world of cycling, and I know that you were more of a mountain biker when you were younger, but I imagine that Phil was a hero and a trailblazer for you, and his career was just extraordinary overseas. And I guess before Cadel Evans there was Phil Anderson.
When I started cycling in about 1990, we would watch the Tour de France and of course see Phil riding the Tour, and he was there were I think 3 or 4 professionals normally in the Tour in those early 90s, and Phil was by far and away the most established and most successful of those. So where people today would have been watching Richie Porter and Michael Matthews, I grew up watching Phil Anderson, who's here with us today, and we can call him a local, a bit further down the Great Ocean Road than what we are, but we can call him a local. And one thing as a professional that amazes me, or would amaze me as a professional, and how many races you go to. You get the race book and you look through the list of past winners. How many big races Phil won? So I want to make a little comparison of the guys racing in Europe today and what Phil won. The times are different, but the races, they were hard to win then, they're hard to win now. So that hasn't changed at all. But Phil has won. Phil won a lot of races, but before the time of TV and the internet. So a lot of people don't realise just how much.
And one race that he hasn't won yet is the Chilambra Challenge. You're going to take him on very soon. How are your legs and how are Phil's legs, do you think?
Normally for such an occasion, a competitive spirit would come out, I'm sure. As you can tell from my voice, I'm wrapped up in all the clothes. I've been a bit under the weather for the last couple of days, but doesn't mean we can't get on the bike for a short period.
Now, I just was interested to ask, your son, Rebel, I believe, is right into his cycling, maybe a bit more of an off-road daredevil type of rider, maybe like his father when he was younger. I hear he's coming along very nicely as a little rider at the age of 6.
Yep, we've got a young son who loves mountain biking. He doesn't get pushed into the sport at all, but he gets when he asks advice, I try to give him good advice. And of course, as a father who's employed by a bike company, of course he's very well equipped, to say the least. He's the only guy at his school that's got XTR on his bike. But anyway, but he loves it, and whether it's the kids race here that we have on the Friday, or my own son, or his friends at school, our future generations really are our future, and that's where we're having the pros race and hopefully inspire young people, whether they're watching on the roadside or being part of the ride. That's a whole part of our weekend here, and having the kids race means everyone can participate as well.
We've talked a lot about how it's sort of a 4-day event now, and it's about participation as well, but just on the actual elite men's race, I mean, in its 4th year now, I think you're probably the only cyclist in the world to have a top tier race actually named after you. The vision that you had a few years ago and where it is now, how happy are you with the way it's developed?
We hoped and we dreamed to get into the World Tour in maybe 5 years. Maybe a bit better if we were lucky, but to be there in the 3rd year, it puts us in the top tier of cycling, the top races in the world, along with Milan, San Remo, Paris-Roubaix. We have the same sanction as those top established historic classics. But also when you switch on the TV and you see the race calendar and you see your name there, it's just kind of a bit Milan, San Remo, Cadel Evans, and that happens anywhere in the world. But I suppose that's of course something that I'm fortunate enough to having a race named after me. But most of all, in the men's race, we made a quick progress, but in coming through the sanctioning. But we really aim to deserve the sanctioning, to put on a good race, an event that fits in with the pro schedule, the professional calendar, and be worthy of that. And the ECI saw what we were doing and saw that, well, this is maybe how races should be run, and that's to our credit that we could go to the World Tour so quickly.
Absolutely, you should be extremely proud of how the event has developed over the years. We can't wait for next year's. I know Channel 7's very excited to be involved again, so we better let you go and get ready, because so what we're going to do, Cadel and Phil are going to have a race up Chilambra here, and then after that Steve Bracks, and along with a couple of other young local riders, are going to also have a go. So you might have a few years on them, Mr. Bracks, but you've got experience. So Cadel, we're going to let you get on the bike, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.